For just 72 seconds, a mysterious radio signal reached Earth from deep space. It was so unusual that the astronomer studying it stopped what he was doing, circled the data, and wrote one word: wow. Nearly 50 years later, scientists still cannot say with certainty what created it. The year was 1977. At the Ohio State University Radio Observatory in Ohio, a radio telescope called Big Ear was quietly scanning the sky as part of the search for unusual radio signals from space. Unlike an optical telescope, Big Ear did not take pictures. Instead, it listened for radio waves, signals naturally produced by stars, galaxies, gas clouds, planets, and other objects throughout the universe. On August 15th, 1977, something extraordinary happened. The telescope detected a very strong narrowband radio signal. It lasted exactly 72 seconds, the maximum time an object could remain inside the telescope's fixed field of view as Earth rotated. The signal appeared to come from the direction of the constellation Sagittarius constellation, near where astronomers had been observing. Several days later, astronomer Jerry R. Ehman reviewed the computer printout. Most of the pages contained ordinary numbers. But one line immediately stood out. The computer had printed the sequence 6EQUJ5. Those letters and numbers were not a coded message. They simply represented how strong the radio signal became over time. The signal rose smoothly in strength, reached an unusually high peak, then faded away exactly as expected for a real object passing through the telescope's view. A random equipment malfunction usually does not behave that way. Surprised, Ehman circled the sequence and wrote one word beside it: wow. That note gave the event its famous name, the wow signal. Scientists immediately tried to find the source. The telescope searched the same area again. Nothing. Years later, more powerful radio telescopes searched again. Still nothing. The signal has never been detected a second time. That is the greatest challenge. In science, discoveries become much stronger when they can be repeated. Without another detection, researchers cannot accurately measure the source or test competing explanations. Over the decades, scientists have proposed several ideas. One possibility is that it came from a rare natural astronomical event that has not happened again while Earth was observing. Another suggestion is that it was reflected or affected by an unusual space environment. In 2017, one researcher proposed that radio emissions from hydrogen surrounding passing comets might explain the signal. However, many astronomers argued that this evidence was not sufficient, and the explanation has not gained broad acceptance. Some people have suggested the signal could have originated from extraterrestrial technology. While this idea often attracts public attention, there is no scientific evidence that the signal came from an alien civilization. Because the signal was detected only once, scientists cannot draw that conclusion. Today, the true source remains unknown. The wow signal is important because it had several characteristics researchers were looking for. It was extremely narrow in frequency. It appeared to come from deep space rather than nearby Earth. It followed the expected pattern of a distant source moving through the telescope's field of view. It was strong enough to stand out clearly from background noise, yet none of these characteristics reveal what actually produced it. One unexplained signal is not enough to prove a discovery. Science requires evidence that can be tested and repeated. Modern observatories continue scanning the skies with technology far more advanced than Big Ear ever had. Every year, new telescopes collect enormous amounts of radio data, hoping to detect unusual signals. Perhaps one day, a similar signal will appear again. If it does, scientists may finally identify the source. Or it may reveal an entirely new natural phenomenon that we have never encountered before. Until then, the wow signal remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in the history of astronomy. A 72-second event that continues to challenge scientists almost half a century later.